Welcome to Your Money Guides, brought to you by Interface Financial Planning.
Caroline's story, money management for the rest of her life. I would never have been able to do all of this without your help. You've been so good to me over the years. That's what Alan's client said to him recently. Her words moved Alan, especially as she's been his client for over 30 years. It feels immensely satisfying to know that Alan's made such a difference to her life, so much so that he welled up. It's not the first time a client has told Alan that they're grateful for his help, and every time he hears similar comments, he feels emotional. There's quite simply nothing better than making a difference to other people's lives. Caroline was one of Alan's first ever clients. In fact, he'd worked with her even before he became an independent financial advisor, back when he worked for an insurance company, and that's where he first met Caroline. Caroline was an excellent GP, but money management and understanding finance was never her forte. When Alan met her, she'd just been through a stressful divorce, so one of the first things that Alan did for her was to liaise with her ex-husband and transfer ownership of her home into her sole name. Alan had to intervene because the two of them had been separated for 10 years. However, they had a poor relationship and were unable to discuss finances. Having Alan as an intermediary managed to get things moving. They arranged a mortgage to buy her husband out, and with the help of a solicitor contact of Alan's, the title of the house was transferred to Caroline's name. Following Caroline's divorce, she was left looking after her two young sons, which meant she could only work part-time. With some cash flow forecasting, Alan realised there would be an income shortfall in retirement. So, to rectify the situation, Alan started some retirement savings into a pension and personal equity plan. Do you remember those? That was quite some years back, just before Alan became an IFA in 1992. As soon as he did, he arranged critical illness cover for Caroline to cover her mortgage just in case. Unfortunately, that came into play just a year later when she developed breast cancer. Alan helped her with her critical illness claim and thankfully cleared her mortgage. Alan's always been a life planner, even before he met George Kinder from the Kinder Institute, of which Alan is a member of. And Alan discussed what was important to Caroline for her future. In keeping with the Kinder Institute's way of working, when you discuss what's in a client's heart core, it's always done without judgment, so all of Alan's own values and interests were left on the shelf. Alan is a humanist and listened carefully to Caroline. He discovered that her own religion was very important to her. Her father had been a vicar, and she'd grown up in a vicarage with very few amenities. Perhaps that's what shaped her future, as she was always worried about money. But with careful guidance, Alan showed her how she could afford to visit Bethlehem, Lourdes and Rome, the places she'd longed to go to. Later on, she visited Petra in Jordan and took a cruise up the Nile, which she still talks about today. Unfortunately, in the early noughties, Caroline developed type 2 diabetes and was forced to retire from practice earlier than planned. With Alan's help, she obtained an early ill health pension from the NHS and an enhanced annuity from her pension fund. Additionally, Caroline had a PHI income protection policy that filled in the income gap between her taking early retirement and receiving her state pension. For Alan, genuinely helping clients as an IFA goes beyond money. As well as helping Caroline, Alan's team also guide one of her sons, who worked in the People's Republic of China for several years. He has a rental property here in the UK, which is insured through Alan's agency, so that he can ensure that the house is properly insured, and that Alan and his team are the main point of contact for the letting agent. Alan and his team have found that Zoom meetings from China are easy to arrange, as easy as meetings with someone in the UK, as long as they remember to allow for the 8 hours time difference. Caroline's son has all his email directed to the team, and they scan it for him so he receives it on the same day. With breast cancer and diabetes, you would think that Caroline has had more than her fair share of ill health, but sadly, she now has Alzheimer's. As an ex-GP, she's frightened of the future, but she's determined to continue to live every moment to the full. Back in October 2007, lasting powers of attorney were made available, and Alan's team almost cajole all clients to get them in place, such is the importance. Alan's prepared clients' wills since 1990, and today the team have a special member who's responsible for wills, trusts, LPAs and all things legal. Caroline's LPAs have been in place and registered at the OPG for several years, which means that her other son, who lives locally, can help her with the things that she can no longer do herself. Currently, Alan is discussing care costs and the potential for moving Caroline into long-term care at some point. Alan is a member of SOLLA, the Society of Later Life Advisors, so he does have the expertise to help people like Caroline in their later life. Has financial planning made a difference to Caroline's life? Alan will let you draw your own conclusion. It's more than finance, it's real life planning. Therein lies the difference in the way that Alan works. Thank you.
For more information, visit our website at interfacefinancialplanning.co.uk.